lovers, we are the Protagonist.
So get ready for an unforgettable
Beautiful brand new week, and of course a very, very good morning to you, cherished viewers. You are welcome to the Cocoa Digest Morning Show, and of course I am your host, Yayura Awuno. We are coming to you live from the studios of Clock TV, and you can catch us on GoTV channel 184. Be reminded that we are streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube, so while you're commuting to work this morning, you can join in the conversation online. Just look for Clock TV and look for Cocoa Digest. You'll find us on Facebook and on YouTube. Text a friend, call a brother or sister to join in the conversation here. Here on the Cocoa Digest Morning Show, we bring to you the most informative and entertaining and of course educative segments like business, sports, lifestyle, entertainment, motivational quotes, in-depth discussions to give you a well-rounded experience and sets the tone for your day. Next is our motivational quote, and Miriam Abna-Dede will take us through. Yes, it is time for our motivational quote of the day, and this is to inspire you and set the tone for your day on, of course, a positive note. And of course, I do this with my co-host, and we have Miriam Abna-Dede here, and of course, our very own Clement Yaban Kwe. Good morning, my lady and gentleman.
Good morning.
Yes, you're looking very, very beautiful. Especially me brighten this place with the red.
Oh, Yaira, thank you so much. But it's amazing both of you having to say.
Oh yeah, So, our motivational quote of the day. What do you have for us, Mimi? Tell us.
Right. So we have a quote from Martin Luther King Jr. and let's have a look at it now. So our quote for today says, "If I cannot do great things, I can do small things in a great way. If I cannot do great things, I can do small things in a great way." And this is by Martin Luther King Jr. And that's our quote for this morning.
Okay.
This is one of his greatest quotes. Personally, I would say that because we know Martin is one of the prominent people who have really inspired or changed the world with their words and their quotes. And this I classify as one of his best quotes. I classify this quote as a best quote because it was a quote that aimed to fight for the rights of people, as at the time he was around, and he wanted equal rights for everyone, which was the main or the major goal he set for himself. And he realized that achieving that goal was not going to be possible, but it will only take the collective efforts of people, prominent leaders in the country, to fight for the rights of the people. And so that was how he was able to achieve equal rights, civil rights for people at that point. And my take from this quote is that we shouldn't be discouraged when we are doing small things, because for all you know, that little thing is a great thing, but it's just small in that state. Let's say, for instance, here at Clock TV, if the cleaner does not show up to clean this place, we won't be able to come and sit here and have this production this morning because the place is going to be in debt, right? If our floor manager or our productions manager does not make provision for breakfast, I don't think we'll come and sit here and be smiling. These are small achievable things that when we come together as a team, we are able to achieve what we are seeing on screens this morning, as we are all glittering and looking very nice this morning. So that is my take from the quote.
Okay. So here I have a more expanded version of the quote, and it says, "If I cannot do great things that shake the world or leave an undeniable legacy, I will not let that discourage me. Instead, I will focus on doing the small everyday tasks with excellence, passion, and care, because even the smallest act done in a great way has the power to inspire, uplift, and make a difference in someone's life. It is not always the scale of the act that defines its greatness, but the spirit and intention behind it." So I think my take on this would be that, you know, I think, is that our Bible? Yes. The Bible says, "To whom much is given, much is required." And we tend to scale these things small, big, like even the talents that were given to, like the parable of the talents. Is it 10 talents? Or 5? No, there was 5, 2 and 1, yes. Yeah. Even the parable of the talents. And I would like us to just bring our minds back to the fact that anything bigger than 0 is still big. It's still much, because 1 is bigger than 0, and 0 means nothing. It's null. So whether you are given one task which is regarded as small, it is still bigger than nothing. And it does not matter the size of your task or the size of the act, but rather how much you are able to, you know, contribute to whatever it is you're doing, however you're able to even implement this task, whatever it is that you are doing, however small we regard it. Like you were saying, we regard in our society, we regard maybe the job of the cleaner as something small, it's insignificant, but in the grand scheme of things, it is a very significant thing, as much as it is sort of seen as the small thing. Yeah. Even, you know, again, it seems today I'm going to the Bible. Like, you know, Proverbs, it says, "Go to the ant." The ant is one of the tiniest creatures, at least, aside the, you know, the cellular and amoeba and bacteria things, you know, the living creatures here that we can see. It's one of the smallest, but it plays such a very, very instrumental role in our ecosystem. And it does its job very well. We even look at these insects and things like that. If they are not playing their role, the ecosystem will shut down. Exactly. Sometimes we ask, why do we even have house flies, or why do we even have this, that, those, some insects that are annoying, or some tasks that we deem to be annoying. Why do we have that? You know, they all have their role to play. And even drawing back to us as humans, we are giving something small to do. Let's say it is a very short segment, like maybe let's say the motivational quote. It's very short. You may think it is not significant because it's not a 1-hour interview, but that small 5-minute motivational quote you are given is inspiring somebody's day. It is going to give somebody the positivity they needed as they are watching the Cocoa Digest morning show. So Clement, what is your take as well?
I think the two big and beautiful women have digested everything. Let me just say this so simple. So rightly as said by Mimi and Yaira, if you cannot do great things, I can do small things in a great way. My first question is, how do we do small things in a great way? What great way are we talking about? And I will take it from the point of the uniqueness of each person or each individual. Your uniqueness makes you great. So even before you start a task, how unique you are put you out there. So the uniqueness of Yaira sitting here, speaking to the public, educating the public, makes her great. So you doing small things is not about doing the things that people regard to be the smallest in society, but it's about doing what you think you can do best of yourself. Because if you're able to do things best of yourself, then you would attain everything you want to attain in life. You attain everything you want to attain in society. But if you think I'm copying or I'm doing what Yaira is doing, I want to do what Yaira is doing because she's speaking very good. She's doing this, she's doing that. So I see that of Yaira as something great and something big. So if I want to emulate Yaira, I try to hide my real identity. So at the end of the day, I'm unable to fulfill the task I'm supposed to fulfill. So I believe this very quote is trying to tell us that let's come out of ourselves. Do what you can do best in your uniqueness. Don't look at how someone is doing it, but go into yourself ask yourself that, okay, I want to present, how do I do it best?
Yeah.
And your uniqueness, there was one thing I've learned in life and I've learned in society, that everybody has his own uniqueness.
Yeah.
Your uniqueness as a presenter will be different from that of Mimi.
Yeah.
But how you are going to do it will make it very extraordinary, and people will really love what you do.
Yeah.
So that is what I would say on this very
Okay.
quote.
Thank you very
I won't
much.
emulate you, so don't worry.
Please. You are unique in yourself. Thank you very much for your submissions. So as you go through your day, I hope that this quote motivates you and inspires you. Share it with a friend. Share the positivity, and of course, keep that beautiful smile on your face. And remember, whatever task you are given, do it with all your passion. Do it with all the love and zeal that you can, so that at least you know that you're contributing, whether it's 1 or infinity, because each is still greater than 0. So later in the show, number displayed on your screens. You can share your own motivational quotes that have been inspiring you throughout the years, and of course we'll read them aloud. Next is the online and newspaper review with my usuals, and we will be right back. Morning, Cocoa Digest crew. Good morning to you too, Obiba Wilson. Thank you so much for this inspiring set of quotes. Thank you. Yes, Miriam and her Black Stars existential crisis.
So as I was saying, I'm just grateful that I'm alive this morning, that you are seeing me. But inward,
deep is it?
a lot is happening.
Oh.
But with Clement by my side, everything will go well.
Cocoa Digest cast
Love
you
brewed,
are doing
love
a love
brewed
brewed in a Cocoa Digest calabash. Yes, what about you?
Mimi was sad, and I can't be sad because if the two of us are sad, who will comfort the other?
Somebody want to my boom.
Yes, so I need to stay strong, but notwithstanding, yeah.
I told you people, I have given up on Black Stars long ago. That is why I'm not
serious?
facing disappointments
all of us cannot give up on them like that. And the funny thing was that yesterday they were selling tickets at the gates. 50 cedis, 300 cedis, 100 cedis. People paid.
Yes.
That's the most painful. Someone was like, that's my lunch.
The love is the
People
love for the
travel overseas to go and watch Black Stars play
No, this is not the Black Stars.
abysmal. Is
But
it
yeah,
50 CDs you're crying about?
there are more to this, and I think management need to look into Black Stars because this is not the Black Stars we know.
Exactly.
At least I've not been on Earth for long, but the little I know, this is not a Black
This is
Star.
not a Black Star.
No, this is not a Black Star we know.
The days of Asamoah Gyan,
So who is
Stephen
it?
Appiah.
you don't know what is happening.
I think they need to go back to the drawing board and analyze what is really happening. You see, Yaira, let me link it to this. Yesterday, at a program of the launching of the blueprint for sustainable global peace, the Professor Samuel Ato Duncan said something that we have manual for all things we do, even machine. When you purchase machine, there's a manual for it. Let me link to Ghana Black Star. I don't know if the GFA has a manual or the GFA has a blueprint. If the GFA is not having a blueprint for development of Ghana Black Star, then they should get a they should get a manual. They should get a drawing board that will tell them that the tone you are going is wrong.
Yeah.
So please come back.
Yeah.
If they don't, it shouldn't be like today we go win and that is all. The next day we lose and that is all. Like under the leadership of the current president,
exactly,
four coaches, and it's so bad. I won't talk about it because the sportsman will talk more into it.
I wish we could have him over to join us and then
it's so
help
bad.
us with the Black Stars issue.
Don't worry, he will.
Producers.
But let me talk about something I saw yesterday, which I felt was very embarrassing. I mean, after the match, a journalist, had an interview with our coach. And then he was asking him if he would refer to himself as a best scout than a coach because his performance is very, very poor. And that has, raised a lot of concerns online. People were attacking the journalist for asking such a question. Others were also, he deserves it because looking at his performance, we can't say worse or we can't say anything better. But I personally feel that was a personal attack. Because the person was attacking his personality, calling him a scout instead of a coach when you know he's a coach. And according to the coach, he said he's been coaching for I think the past 12 years and he just did scouting for like 6 months. So comparing the two, Abba.
Well, not to justify that kind of question, but looking at the pain you're going through, if you were to interview the coach of Black Stars,
I'll be very demure.
You lost appetite. You haven't even eaten this morning.
Oh, but I mean, people should take it easy on him because, I mean, for all we know, it is not even from the coach. Just as Clement said, it's a management thing. And looking at the performance of the 4 coaches under this very own GFA president, Kurt Okraku, we cannot really... We can say it is from management. We can't blame the coaches for their performances.
But then also, if from what we know about their welfare being taken care of, there's a lot of funds being put into, fueling their or funding their welfare and lifestyle and things like that. There should be some translation into their performance on the pitch because management can do as much as management can do, but you are the trained professionals. what are you playing on the field for us?
Well, I would say that the coach lacks control over the players. Me, from where I sit, I think he doesn't really have, control over the players. It's as if, okay, they are international players. We know them. I can't really tell them what to do. And that is a very big problem we have as Ghanaians. So, say
the timidity.
You get it. At this point, how can you tell me to play like this? That kind of thing.
But at the end of the day, isn't it to play to win? Play in a very what's the word? Very beautiful way for Ghanaians, because the Black Stars of back in the day, that today we still even compare these new Black Stars to the likes of Michael Essien, Stephen Appiah, I beg you, Agogo, and things like that. The way they used to play with passion.
Yeah.
So, sometimes somebody can say that maybe their conditions of service isn't so favorable, or they are abroad in Bobo or something. But
as for conditions,
the passion, the conditions the conditions are okay.
Yeah, okay.
You have all the fun.
Because it does not seem as though they are playing with the passion or the love for it.
But as I said, let me just say this one thing, and I'll leave it to the sportsman.
Okay.
Since the sports segment, they will talk much into this matter. My point is, as you said, you have been trained for the job. Sometimes you will be trained for a particular job, and if those around you are not supportive, you can fail. I think that is what is happening to our coaches in Black Stars. One, let's take a look at the technical team. Let's take a look at the component of the people who are the technical team itself. So it's bad, and I think something needs to be done about it as soon as possible, because you lost to Niger 2-1. The worst part is you get penalty. And it was
Almighty Kudus. One last thing I also want to talk about is the fact that people should not, really put all their eggs in one basket. I mean,
you are here.
Because when I saw Kudus going to, play the penalty, I had my hopes high. I knew that Kudus, they were sharing.
But your eggs were in one basket.
That's why I'm advising people. It took the intervention of God. So next time, I think we can do better.
Okay, quickly before we go to the next story, we have a comment here, Ladies Journey. She says, good morning, I love how you are all serving us with the cocoa we need to digest. Thank you for your comment as well. So yes, what else is trending? Please, Mimi Ajabro, it's over.
I think the trending Black Star has taken almost
everything,
80%. But the 20%, as I said yesterday, I was at the program.
Okay.
It's about a blueprint for sustainable global peace. And it was graced by the Gaman chair, Otunfo, but he wasn't there. A rep was there.
Okay.
The Electoral Commission, Deputy EC for Operation, was there. We have a lot of Peace Council, they were all there. And it was a wonderful program, I must say. Lyra, I learned one thing yesterday from Professor Samuel Atudankan. Professor said that the reason why there is no peace in this world is because humanity have lost their purpose in life. And I was like, when I heard that thing from him, I was like, how? He said humanity has lost purpose in life, and humanity is just after material things. So the love for material things is making us do things we are not supposed to do. He took us back to creation, proving the existence of God from the scientific point of view. Seriously, yesterday's program was something that you must be there. It's a very nice program, and you could see how the kings and queens were clapping. But let me just link you to his main fundamental for peace. He said, fundamental for peace is love plus truth, which is equal to peace. Peace is not about us we having a lot of security men out there, we having a lot of people protecting us. No. He said peace is basically about the love and truth. Yeah. Because if I have love for Yaira, there's no way I will do something. This one is the godly love. You get it? So let's do
I've been through a lot, so don't put me through a lot this morning.
Okay, so if I have love for Yaira, there's no way I will do something bad or something evil to Yaira. Yesterday, he showed a video where a military man was chopping a human being bare-handed. And the question was, if the military man has love for the person he was chopping or killing at that point in time, there's no way he would do that. And it's true. He'll link it to the point of what is really happening in the world, to an extent that every year we spend almost 18 trillion United States dollars in fighting criminal activities in the world. That's per his research. And in Africa alone, annually we spend over 5 billion in dealing with issues that need to do with peace and keeping and all these things. So I believe that one major thing he also said is that if you want peace as a country, peace is individualistic. If I fight for my peace, Yaira fights for her peace, Mimi fights for her peace, then collectively we will have peace in Ghana.
And that even links with our quotes.
That even links our quotes this morning. So if we fail to fight for our individual peace in our various homes, then we should forget about having peace as a country, as collective people in this country. And it's so wonderful. Dr. Serebo was there and he made a profound statement. He was talking on the point of free and fair elections. And he spoke to the point of Ghana Police Service, that when you talk about free or fair from Ghana Police Service, that is when the Ghana Police Service, the security agencies, treating everybody equal in terms of arrest. But when you talk about they not being fair, that is when an upper authority is trying to infringe upon the activities of Ghana Police Service. That is not allowing them to do whatever they were supposed to do. So all these things come in to fight against the peace that we have. There was a rep of the Vice President who said that his concern is, why do we talk about peace only during election year? And I was like, yes, it's a very critical question we need to look at. He made a point that we didn't talk about peace in 2021, 2022, we didn't preach peace. 2020, so why 2024 we are preaching peace? I realize it's a good point, because if peace is part of us, like in 2024, there's no need to preach peace.
Exactly.
Well,
it's just like a member of parliament, you know, doing things in his constituency now.
Yes, now.
Yes, or even. Anyway, we have a comment here, and it says, it's from Ejewa. She says, if Kwesi Appiah with Sudan gets past group stages, it will be obvious that Ghana has to reconsider its leaders. Hey. Thank you for your comments. I think
people have issues though.
Over the weekend and someone at home was reading something online, and she mentioned that they said the U.S. Supreme Court rules in favor of our Speaker of Parliament's, dictation about the seats, the vacant seats. And we started arguing, two political scientists. And I was talking about the fact that if we are to involve another country's Supreme Court in our affairs, that undermines the sovereignty of the states.
Yeah.
And already the East and West are already shoulder deep, covertly in the affairs of Africa already. So someone can already even argue that the sovereignty of the African states already is jeopardized, because we have these Western countries already dictating certain things we should do, certain ways to manage our affairs, our economy, even our governance, in order to get Nokofio to be able to run the state. And now if truly, I don't know how, it was just an argument we were making. I don't know how true that information is. But if the U.S. Supreme Court is talking about our issues, our governance here, our parliament and our Supreme Court, the impasse that they are facing at the moment, or let's say even the stalemate, then we have a very big problem at hand.
A very big one.
Because we already have our parliament running to the judiciary to they're already bypassing their standing orders that govern them to another arm of government, and now a whole other arm of government of another country coming to even speak on this issue. And if fine, it is a consultancy thing where, we are seeking opinions, that's fine. But if it is that they have become the mediating or arbitrary body, then we are in trouble.
That cannot be possible. Maybe it was a consultancy. I don't think.
I'm hoping so.
Yeah, because when it comes to jurisdiction in law, a different jurisdiction or laws in a different country cannot be applied to our jurisdiction. So that's
So it was mainly just, you see how both of you may have lovers squabble, right? You come and tell me your side, or I listen to the issue, then I say, okay, who do I choose? One person is right, or one person is well within their right to say so. It should remain just as as an opinion, as a suggestion, but not the influence of how the dynamic is run in the relationship, right? So I'm hoping, please, Ghanaians, we beg, don't come and involve another country.
We've had enough. We've had enough.
You see, this issue today, I was like, I don't want to talk about it because there are more to this issue.
Yeah.
There is a pending threat on this issue of Supreme Court's ruling. You see, Parliament is supposed to be on mandatory recession because of the general election. And per calendar, if I'm really correct, it's supposed to happen somewhere November 10th. So when the ruling of Supreme Court was out, Parliament was supposed to be in mandatory recession because of election. But the question now comes that, are they going to invoke Parliament, or is the majority leader by the Supreme Court going to invoke the article again from Parliament to come back to sitting or something? I doubt it's not going to happen. So if it's not going to happen, how do we now do some activities of business which needed urgent attention?
Exactly.
So Yara, this issue, we will talk about it, but probably not today. So we'll delve more deeper into it.
We have a story here. So we have two stories for the online. So this is about the election 2024 coming up in, I think, 2 weeks. Hey. It's salary week or waiting for the election. So here, Dampare says, we will be impartial and professional. So the Ghana Police Service will remain impartial and professional throughout the December 7 elections, according to assurances made by the Inspector General of the Police, Dr. George Ekufu Dampare. He asserts that the police will enforce the law equally and have no stake in the outcome of the elections. Speaking at the opening of a brand new cutting-edge police station in the eastern regions, Achimmuoso, Clement, help me, Muoso or something, yes, Achimmuoso.
Mosiaso.
Okay, Achim Musiaso. The IGP cautioned troublemakers to stay away, since the police will not permit any individual or group of individuals to jeopardize national security before, during, or following the elections. I like the fact that our police service, they tend to come out with statements like this, warning people that not try and it's something that we should commend them for, because throughout we've even had some summits and programs where the police are also involved. They even share their plans for the elections. How I remember, I think earlier this year when we went to cover it was held at Nat Hall. I don't remember but I remember that it was about elections. Yes, it was about peace and elections. We had the Electoral Commission, we had the Peace Council, and even the police. And George Dampare was there. He came to give us a presentation on preparations before, during, and even after elections, and I like that so much. I don't know if it's because maybe we are older, so we are seeing that they do that. I don't know if they used to do that in the previous years as much as they are now, but they seem to be way more into protecting the peace, because I remember he mentioned that they have a 24-hour service, especially for the election issues, which is very good. So now we know that, okay, the police are accessible 24 hours with regards to the elections. So it's a step in the right direction.
To add up to what you're saying, I think it's a good thing that they are coming out to, give us strategies and other things. But I read into the story, and it was a commissioning of 3 police stations, actually, in the eastern region. That should tell us how intensive security is going to be in that part of the country. But the IGP made a statement that they are going to, work on strategies and innovative ways to make the Ghana Police Service admirable. So, admirable, and that caught my attention. I was asking myself, at what point have we gotten to, as Ghanaians, that we do not admire the police again? Because even today, if you tell someone that, okay, let me use myself as an example. If you come to me and you tell me that you have a free slot in the Ghana Police Service, I will not go. Like,
Yeah.
there is nothing attractive about that service.
Yeah.
And I think,
In your opinion,
in my
yes.
opinion, yeah. And I think it's because of the series of things that have been happening in terms of security, lack of trust, you know, corruption here and
Yeah.
there. When it comes to corruption, people always, you know, assert that they are the number one service that, you know, involve or indulge in corruptive activities. So I think it was good that he said they were going to work on strategies to make it admirable, but I hope it is not just something they are saying, because
Yeah.
when we talk about the Galamsey issue, for instance, the other time it
Yes.
was in front, right in front of a police station that, you know, mining
Yeah.
was being done. So I mean, what does it tell us as people of this country?
And even I think I understand your perspective
Yeah.
about the fact that the police service may not be as attractive as we hope, because we hear a lot of times that when you go to the police station or you seek any kind of help that the
Yeah.
police is mandated to give you,
Exactly.
they require something small. And sometimes they sound as though they don't get, it's almost as if they are not getting paid, or their
Paid,
conditions
exactly.
of service are really, really poor. Because I remember,
Even before you come in,
I remember even with the protests, yes,
Yeah.
when there was somebody that was supplying food for protesters, and he was also arrested, and apparently the food was seized and consumed by, you know, these are some of the things that people come out to talk
yes.
about the
And
police, and
this is like
it makes
a
them
personal
not look-
experience. I was in a car with a driver, right? And then he was like, oh, I don't have cash on me, and if a police should stop me right now and they ask for money, I will just send them Momo. Now they don't take Momo.
Hey.
That was what the person said. I was like, why, is it a transaction or something that he's been doing with
Okay,
them?
so
and you know,
So
on the police checks too, they tend to
yeah,
ask for money.
It could be allegations. So let's stick to this very matter.
Yes, but yes, they are trying to enforce peace during, before, and after elections.
We have to talk about it, because it is not about commissioning police stations, but what you are doing as a service is what we also have to talk about.
That's very true. And Ghana Police Service, they are doing very well. I must say today I'm not going to be the PRO for Ghana Police Service, but they are doing very well. We can attest to the facts of the Ascent North by-election, where people were thinking Ghana Police Service will not involve themselves that much, because people have the view that Ghana Police Service is linked to the ruling government, so they will not involve themselves much. But to the surprising of Ghanaians, IGP sent his men, and they were in their numbers over there.
Yeah.
And as a matter of, there was so much peace at Ascent North during that election. So since then, people have believed, and they have really trusted the current IGP we have. That's Akufo Dampare, for the good work he's doing in the service. And I must say, over the past, we've been hearing a lot about police service, but now things are unfolding. Things are really changing. And we know that this general election is going to be very peaceful, because let me say what I quote what he said. He said, the Ghana Police Service is for the country and its people. We do not belong to any side in the elections. We are there to serve the people and to protect you. So we will remain neutral and professional during the elections and beyond. This is what the IGP is saying. So the IGP is telling the Ghanaian public that they are non-political and they will always remain neutral in this election. And I must say, coming election, I know it's the peace and the conflict issue has become here and there, even with the issue of Boko, the conflict we have in Boko currently, which is a threat to our election. Ghana Police Service promising us that they are going to get us the best. So I would tell the general public that we should abide by the service rules of Ghana Police Service. When you go to the day of election, when anything they tell you, you should do it. Don't think you are Oboro, and especially those political party, they are security people, they are going to all these things need to stop. And I trust IGP.
They need to give the police
so
that
I think
respect.
in conclusion, as much as the IGP is doing his best to improve the image of the Ghana Police Service, I think that this message goes to all the members of the service that there are some bad nuts in this collective that are destroying the image of the Ghana Police Service. So, measures can be taken to improve that, so that people like Mimi will not tell us that if they get a chance to join Ghana Police Service, they won't join because, it's not as attractive. So hopefully, as we have this IGP, things will definitely change, and we are so grateful for their contribution. So the next story here says, this is according to the Education Ministry, the 22,000 bags of purportedly expired rice were wholesome enough to eat. So, Kwesi Kwarteng, the Ministry of Education's Public Relations Officer, claims that the Food and Drugs Authority has deemed the 22 bags of allegedly outdated rice that were sent to the secondary schools nationwide to be safe to eat. Now, we have Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, the Member of Parliament for North Tongue, also claiming that last week that the 22,000 bags of rice weighing about 50 kilograms were outdated and had been given to different schools by the Free Senior High School Secretariat. Now, Mr. Blackwell claims that while the rice had gone bad, it was nevertheless repackaged and given to the schools. He added that Lamens, the business that reportedly repackaged the expired rice, had sold it to the government and had been fined 100,000 Ghana cedis by the FDA. And at a news conference on Monday, November 18, the minority in Parliament, led by Mr. Blackwell, demanded that the CEO of Lamens and other corporate leaders be taken into custody. Despite the MP's persistent assertions, Mr. Kwarteng stated that the rice had not expired in an interview with the media house following the press conference by the NDC MPs. He clarified that Lamens was fined by the FDA for not getting FDA approval before repackaging the rice, not for distributing unhealthy food. This issue, the rice was initially declared, on the package, they had best before December 2023, and it was distributed somewhere in February 2024. Now, the little I know about best before is that after the date, like the December 2023, the integrity or the quality of the product begins to diminish. So I think the little I know was that usually when there's a best before date, there's some viability up to about maybe between 3 to 6 months before it is totally and completely not viable for consumption. Now, we know how grains are. And, emoya dada said so if this rice, they do the testing and then they are able to determine that, okay, from December 2023, maybe basmati never done it to Jimmy or something, they let us know. And now, I know that the company had requested an extension of the expiry date or something, so they took the rice for testing. And when it was tested, according to the interviews I watched, the results came back that there was some high acidity. There was an issue with the rice, but then also the request for the repackaging was not granted. They hadn't received any response, but then the Lamens Lamens company decided to go on to repackage the rice, and this rice is coming from India. It's in Moshosho.
Yeah, Moshosho.
Yes. And when they repackaged them in bags that claim the rice was made in Ghana.
Wow.
And so the MP for North Tongue is saying that there's a whole lot going on, that they should be brought to justice, because these are our children, these are our future leaders, and if they are being given this kind of, and I mean, over the years, this free SHS and even the free school feeding program, there have been scandals over the years about the integrity or the quality of our food. And now 22,000 bags of rice were repackaged without the FDA's approval and then distributed. What is it that we are not hearing?
So, Era, this is so bad. I might say it's very, very bad. I heard this, that was last week, so I was following the story, and I've been following it. Yesterday, I followed the Honorable Member of Parliament on an interview in one of the media houses, and he was still speaking to this issue. Ministry of Education they've also brought their finding, as you said, that yes, the rice was good for consumption. That is why the company went ahead to do distribution. We personally, I have no problem with them coming out with such findings. But my concern, one, is we know that when a particular product goes bad, one way or the other is very harmful for human consumption.
Yeah.
Way back, me in primary, no, JHS, my madam said, when you are going to buy an item, and it's about 2 months to expiring date, Clement,
shouldn't
don't
buy, yes.
Because maybe it has already gone bad.
Yes. So you realize that in that time frame, the quality of the rice was starting to diminish.
Yes.
And
So-
we know grains, insects and weevils will start appearing one way or another in these grains. So all of that,
Yes.
is it still wholesome to eat?
Yara, let me get the points from that. So I don't know why this issue is kind of being a political issue here and there. That is how, from what I said, that's how you see it. But this is a national concern issue. This is issue that people need to come out and speak to the matter as it is.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be behind and project assuming someone is bad or someone is doing something good. No, let's speak to issues. Let's assume that this rice was was consumed by your household. How are you going to
Or
feel?
even our leaders, like at a banquet or something, this is the rice being cooked. Would they want to eat it?
Yeah, so so when it happens, like, how are you going to feel? That is my first point of action. And when you listen to the FDA, their report, I was trying to get their report, but I couldn't get. But when you follow the reports of FDA, they satisfied the rice on the 6th of February 2024. That was when certification was given to the Lamens people.
Okay.
But before certification, on 4th of February, there have been distribution of rice to Presec, to Bolegatanga, to Konongo Senior High. Over 1,830 bags of rice collectively to this institution before the certified application was out. So the question is, why didn't they wait for that thing to come before they distribute the rice? That is point number one. My point number two, to FDA and to Ministry of Education, if we really want justice to this issue, why did Lamens also did repackaging? If they claim, sorry to say, if they claim that the rice was good for consumption, then how you imported it, send the same thing to the various schools for them to consume. But the question, why did you repackage the rice?
Because the expiry date said December 2023.
So, Yara, let me take you to LI 1541. That's the Ghana Standard Authority. LI in the Constitution. When you go to LI 1I CI, it says that date of manufacture and expiring dates or best before dates or used by dates in respect to food need to be on every product. The II says date of manufacture and expiring dates in respect of drugs or products also need to be on it. But when you talk about this very right for distribution, there is no expiring date. There is no manufacturing date. So what? You have even breached the Constitution. You've even gone against. So it's a criminal activity.
Exactly.
That's point number one. Because this one also is in line to the Constitution review that we have in Ghana, even in Parliament.
It's true.
Because you are saying that if Speaker interprets the Constitution wrongly, then you've also breached the Constitution. Because this is what the Constitution says. Point number two, it says that when you go to the same LI, ING, it says one, it should be country of origin of food or drug on the packaging. This time around, the country of origin has been changed from India to Ghana. So what is the intention? Yara, not that. G says that the name and address of producer and manufacturer or importer need to be on the packaging. There was nothing like that. On that very item that was distributed to the various schools. Yara, relax. let's give viewers something for them to take home today. Yara, this issue we are talking about, it's a very pathetic issue, and we need to really talk about it with so much.
We'll talk about it again on Thursday, so we can go deeper.
Last thing. On the issue of Lamens, Lamens Investment Limited, there is something about Lamens that people are forgetting. According to Auditors General Report 2021, paragraph, that's page 138, paragraph 608, which says, I quote, He says that in contravention of Section 52 of the PFM Act 2016, Act 921, we noted that supply of 65 bags of rice in March 2021 to Prestia Honi Valley Senior High and Technical School and 5 cartons of carnation milk for Asankregua Senior High School by Lamens Ventures were found to be unwholesome at our time of audit.
So they even
Auditors
have,
General's report, they have issue
even
about
have-
Lamens Ventures.
It's basically, they even have a track record
A
now.
track record. So
In
why is it
2021,
that-
who was in power?
So, we'll get there next
See,
time.
we will talk about this. We'll talk about this on Thursday. And I even had a question as to why they had waited till December to like. They had, you know, when we buy food, like you were saying, when you see 2 months to expiry, you don't buy it. How long has that rice been, you know, kept that it is now when it's even past expiry date? But you know what? We'll read a comment and then we have to get into the next segment quickly before my producers have my head. So, Ladies Journey again says, we are waiting and watching here for the elections. Poll watch all the way. Our faith is in the police and our faith in the police and the military has come down. So why don't we give the fire service a chance? After all, they are also about security and safety. Now, Emmanuel Wilson Kofi says, this is a country we lived. Please, have you seen any child of any politician or big man doing national service?
This question.
For what?
Obiba, this question.
Thank you so much for your comments. Thank you for your time. Up next is the lifestyle segment, and Miriam Abnadidi and her guest will be discussing the polio vaccinations and mass campaigns. So please stay tuned. We will be right back.
Clog TV. Beyond the policy.
Tell them what happened.
On the polio vaccination by the Ghana Health Service has reached the tables of Clock TV, and this morning we will be having a discussion on that. We aim to inform our viewers on the upcoming second round national mass polio vaccination, which is happening very soon. And we have with us today a registered health nurse who is going to help us with the education we need, and she's in the person of Sylvia Sewa Sumwa, and she's our guest for today as we discuss polio prevention and the importance of mass vaccination campaign. Hello, madam. Hello. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Okay, so we are talking about polio, right?
Yes, please.
So let's start with the basics. What is polio?
Basically, when we talk about polio is a viral infection.
Okay.
That is caused by the polio virus, and then it's basically affects children under 5.
Okay.
Yes, and then at the end, what it does is it causes paralysis, and in severe cases, it causes death. Yes, that is what polio is about.
Okay, and how does the oral polio vaccine protect our children from?
So what the polio the vaccine does is, when it's given, it stimulates what we call the pathogen.
Okay.
Yes. So what we do is the vaccine is more or less like the same causative organism is taken and then is weakened.
Okay.
So when it's weakened, it's sent back into the body. But because it's weakened, it cannot damage the body. It's weakened, and then when it's given orally, it produces antibodies, and then it stands to wait for subsequent attacks.
Okay.
So that's what the vaccine does.
So it is just oral.
It's oral, but we have the injectable.
Okay.
That one is taken at 14 weeks when the child is giving birth, and the child is 14 weeks. That one is given out. But this, what we are doing now, is the oral polio. So it's going to be given through the mouth. Yes, please.
Okay, and what is the essence of this particular campaign? Let me put it that way, because we received the letter, I think, somewhere last week.
Okay. Our main focus is to eradicate polio.
Okay.
You know, polio has no cure.
Okay.
And the only way we can stand against it is to get immunized. So once your child is immunized with the oral polio, you are assured that you have lesser chances of getting infected.
Okay.
And then we also want to prevent the complication, which is the paralysis.
Okay.
Once you are infected with polio, you end up being paralyzed. And then we don't want that. So we want to prevent the paralysis and then eradicate polio.
Okay,
Yes,
so we happen to have images of the yes. Okay, so we have images of the oral vaccination, and also yes, so that is what we are seeing on the screen. So if you can speak to that.
So when the health worker comes to your house, he or she would then seek your permission.
Okay.
And then your child is being dosed with the oral polio. So basically, it's going to be given through the mouth.
Okay.
Yes. So afterwards, what we do is we are going to mark the finger of your child with an indelible ink to show that we have been here and that you don't have to take it again.
Okay.
Yes. So this is how it's done.
Okay. And how do you ensure that you get all eligible children to be vaccinated in this period? Because I know some parents might not really avail their kids for this vaccination.
Yes, that is one of the problems we are facing now. The vaccine hesitancy, but we want to assure them that what we gave your child during your child welfare clinic is the same vaccine we are giving. It is safe and is effective. It doesn't have any. At the end of the day, it won't cause any side effect to the child. But even if it does,
so it means there's a side effect, right?
Well, because there can be a side effect, but some of the side effects could be headache, there could be running nose,
okay,
and there could be temperature.
Okay.
But we are waiting for you in our health centers. Once you see any sign which wasn't there before the vaccine was given, you are supposed to bring the child to the health center, whether a hospital or a child welfare clinic. Yes, you are supposed to bring the child, and then we have measures in place for that. So if your child was not let's say your child was not having a runny nose before the immunization and the child begins to have it, please bring the child to the nearest hospital closer to you. Yes.
So aside the hesitancy from the parents, are there any challenges that you face, major challenges, especially when you set to embark on campaigns like this, mass vaccination campaigns?
Okay, with the challenges,
and how do you overcome them? If you can add that.
But the challenges it still has to do with the hesitancy. Yes, and we the health workers are one of our challenges. The vaccine career is heavy, but we are still on the field. So with the hesitancy, what we do is we involve our head of nursing. Some of the times we involve we have supervisors we go with. We are working as health workers, but we have supervisors. So when it happens like that, we call on them. They come around, and then they come to persuade the mother. And when it gets tougher, we will have to call our director. So she will come and then continue persuading. I remember the last time we had to go and call an opinion leader to come and speak to the person was a Nigerian.
Then so one can argue that maybe the education has not really reached.
It has.
Are you sure?
Yes, it has, because she knows. And then she's our client who has been coming for child welfare clinic. But she says she doesn't want to take this particular one. So we had to go and call an opinion leader, and then he came in, and then the person ended up taking the vaccine for the child. So some of the times the opinion leaders and the stakeholders in the community play a major role. Yes.
Okay. So as a community health nurse, right?
Yes, please.
How important would you say this vaccination campaign is to you personally? How important is this? Because someone might have heard of it, but they really want an assurance. They really want to know how important it is before they can avail their children.
One of the importance is that it helps prevent the spread of disease. Yes, that's the major importance of it. Because let's take polio for instance. Polio can only be prevented through immunization. There's no other preventable means. So if I take it and my next neighbor take it, there's a protection and it's going around. So even if one person doesn't take it and that person gets infected with the polio, and at the end of the day it's in the community, but because I have taken it, I have the protection, I have the antibodies, so even if it go rounds and come back to me, I'm rest assured that I have the protection, so I don't end up getting let's say the complication, which is the paralysis. Yes. So what we want to say is that it helps prevent the spread of the disease. Yes.
So when you're going around with your campaigns, what are the key messages you preach to people to know about this vaccination? Maybe the date, the eligible age, that kind of...
So the date is communicated days before we start our campaign. We are going to start on Thursday. But,
which is 21st.
21st. But now vaccine, the van drivers are around with announcements in the community, so they are aware. Yes, with the date and the age range, which is 0 to 5 years, meaning a child that has been born today, a spat, and the age range is in 0 to 5 years. So a child who has been born today, a spat, to 5 years. Yes. So if you are 5 years today,
is it right at 5 or maybe few months after 5?
No, right at 5. So if you are going to be 5 years today, you are going to take. But if you are 5 years tomorrow, you are not part.
So they cannot get the disease. Those that are above 5.
They can, but
their vaccination is
focus
different.
That
the same
child
vaccination.
is the same vaccine. So that child has already been immunized, because polio is done every 2 years. The last time we did polio in this it was last 2 years. So that child has already been given. So that child has the antibodies already. Yes. Yes.
So we are wrapping up shortly, but you made mention of opinion leaders.
Yes.
In helping to educate people on that. Aside that, what do you think community members or maybe your outfit as a health facility can do to, bring create the awareness in the minds of people to avail their children for the vaccine?
With the opinion leaders, the people, let's say the stakeholders in the community, they play a major role.
Okay.
Some of the times when you go with the, we have community mobilizers. What they do is they go ahead of us. Let's say when we are set to go today, they go ahead of us and then they start organizing the people for us.
Okay.
So once the community, they see, and the community mobilizers, they are taking from the same community.
Okay.
So when they see that this part, oh, vial, minimum, no, okay, so intimate is an assurance for them.
Okay.
So
you have people from the community.
Basically the mobilizers are from the community.
Okay.
The mobilizers and the volunteers.
Okay.
They are not health workers.
Okay.
They are from the community.
Okay.
It makes the work easier because I don't stay in this area, but I work here.
Okay.
So they know all the corners. So when it happens like that, they go ahead of us, organizing the kits and then showing us every part of the community. So no child is left. No child is left out. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Please, what are your last messages for
my
our
last
viewers?
messages is that parents and guardians, when the letters are brought to you, most of the times parents are giving informations on their phones and then letters are sent in to the letters are in their children's bag and they are sent to their houses. I'm saying that when they come, please allow them. Please allow them, because when I'm giving and my next door neighbor is giving, we are all assured that we are being protected from the disease. So I want to encourage every mother, every guardian or every father that please allow the nurses or health workers to immunize your child once they get to your house. Yes. And they are going to be static point too.
Okay.
Apart from house to house, we go to schools, we go to churches and then mosques.
Okay.
And they are going to be static points. So even if they don't come to your house, maybe
they missed
you. You can come to the hospital or any clinic near you. Yes.
Okay. We have some comments here. This is from Joe in Accra. He's saying, why 5 years? Can't one take it before getting to age 5?
The age range is 0 to 5 years.
Yes.
So that person is also part.
Okay. We also have another. This is from Emmanuel inside Asham, and he's saying, can I take the polio vaccine more than once to build a stronger immune system?
Is that what is he? Our focus
This sounds like an adult.
is an adult. That person has already taken, because polio is taken 4 times when you are giving birth. The first one is at age 0. That's polio O.
Okay.
And the second one is taken at 6 weeks. That is polio 1.
Okay.
And the third one is taken at 10 weeks. That is polio 2.
Okay.
And polio 3 is taken at 14 weeks.
Okay.
So I'm sure that he has already gotten the coverage when he was a child.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. We have another one here. This is very interesting. Okay. So please, I'm Aaron inside Kaswa. Please, is this polio different from the one that affects our eyes, that we have to wear spectacles?
I'm sorry, polio doesn't affect our eyes. I don't know. Polio doesn't affect our eyes. Polio, at the end of the day, it's what it does is it causes paralysis. So it has nothing to do with the eyes.
Okay.
Yes, please.
And you said it is not curable. Right?
It's not curable. Once you are deformed, there's nothing you can do. When we were kids, I saw some. You see them with a stick, and then there's a way they walk.
Oh.
And then because of this mass campaigns, it has come down.
Okay.
I don't remember the last time I saw some.
Yeah.
Though we are near eradication, we have not. We've done majority of the pattern. We are near. So it all bounces back to the mass campaign.
Okay.
Yes.
We have another question. Can you please ask her to explain the differences between the types of polio she just mentioned? The 0 polio.
That one is. Let me go again.
Okay.
When you give birth or when a child is born, on that day or within the first 2 weeks, the one we are giving is polio O, and that one you cannot take it after 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then the next one happens at your first child welfare clinic, which is 6 weeks. That one is polio 1. And the subsequent one is polio 2, which goes on at 10 weeks.
Okay.
And the third one, which is polio 3, it happens at 14 weeks, meaning that it has 4 weeks interval for all.
Okay.
Yes. So that is the difference.
Okay. I believe your answers have been, your questions have been answered actually.
Yes.
And thank you so much for bringing in your comments and questions. This is where we end the conversation here on the lifestyle segment. We discussed polio prevention and the importance of mass vaccination campaigns. I did this with Madam Sylvia Sewa Sumwa, who is a registered community health nurse here at Korle Klotey.
Yes,
thank you so much for passing by.
Thank you too.
Right, so up next we have our sports journalist on standby to take us into the world of sports. So stay with us, we'll be right back.
I heard today was your birthday. I heard today was your birthday.
Okay, so let's do some birthdays now. We have our first birthday celebrant, and this is from Evans to Deborah. Happy birthday, Deborah. Wish you more grace. Okay. This is also from your younger brother, Nana Yao Asari, to Clara. Okay, happy birthday, Clara. Cheers to many successful years to come in good health, success, and prosperity. Such a beautiful soul. This is also from James Bernard, and it is to Emmanuel Banini. Happiest birthday to my G, Emmanuel Banini. Wish you more blessings, bro. This is also from Henry Pakpo Adote and wife Lizabel Ato, okay, Jaden Ni Adote. A happy birthday, Jaden, from your dad and mom. We always thank God for giving you to us. May you grow in strength, grace, and wisdom. We love you so much. I've added that. This is also to Reverend Dr. Labi. A happy birthday to an incredible dad, pastor, and doctor. Your wisdom, compassion, and dedication inspire us all. Reverend Dr. Labi, may God bless you abundantly as you continue to touch lives and lead with grace. From Victoria, Prince Priscilla, Abraham, Sylvia. This is also to Mrs. Victoria Labi. Oh, okay. A happy birthday to the most loving, patient, kind mother and grandma in the world. You are truly cherished by everyone who knows you. Wishing you a day as beautiful and special as you are. Mrs. Victoria Labi, may you live long to reap the fruits of your labor from your children and grandchild. And this is also from Bevlin to Mr. Godfred Dade Aku Osei. A happy birthday, sir, on your special day. I want to express my gratitude for the guidance, support, and wisdom you've shared. Your dedication and commitment to your students inspire us all, and I feel fortunate to have you as my counselor. May this year bring you good health, happiness, and success in all your endeavors. Enjoy your day to the fullest. We also have this from Polycarp to Telma. Happy birthday, Telma. Wishing you a day filled with love, laughter, and all your favorite things. Okay. Also to Paulina, and this is from Auntie Oduma to Paulina, okay. Happy belated birthday from your Auntie Oduma. Paulina, may the good Lord continue to protect and lift you high. May grace and favor locate you everywhere in Jesus' name. Love you, bunch. And this is also to Ekia Yebua Akoto. Happy birthday to Ekia Yebua Akoto. May your life be as amazing as you are. Cheers to happier years ahead. And this is also to my very own friend Sapoma. Happy birthday to you, Sapoma, CEO of Substrend. May you Okay, may the good Lord continue to flourish you with blessings and more money. You are loved. This is also from Jay to Adepa. Your friendship is absolutely heaven sent. Thank you for being a wonderful friend. May God continue to bless your path. You shine as bright as the candle on your cake. Keep lightening up every room. You are the best. Happy birthday. Right. Thank you so much for bringing in your birthday messages as well. It has always been an amazing time here celebrating your special day with you on the Cocoa Digest Morning Show. Now, up next, let's do some serious business with sports, because the kind of heartbreak I had yesterday, Nana is here in the studio with us to tell us what's happening in the hearts of many Ghanaians.
Well, the hearts of many Ghanaians, the genuine football lovers, were shattered on Friday.
Yeah.
And yesterday was sort of cemented the whole situation. We thought we were going to finally have some joy in the last game of the qualification. But then the last nail was hit in the coffin, and then we were buried then and and talking about buried, we finished bottom of a group consisting of Angola and Niger and then Sudan. It's quite disheartening just to think about
embarrassing.
it. Yes, talking about Ghana being a football nation. But yes, every dynasty comes to an end. So probably maybe this is the end of the former Ghanaian dynasty, the powerhouse of football, where we're in the semi-finals of almost all the AFCONs. Maybe this is time to sort of go back. Now that we've been buried, let's treat ourselves as viable seeds and then grow and make sure that football in Ghana is better. So yes, that's the words of encouragement that I'm giving to Ghanaians out there today, including myself. Exactly.
Yeah. I have a question, but I'll ask after you read your online news, because I know you have a lot to tell us today.
Quite a lot, yes, about the Black Stars and all that. So yes, we'll go for a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll give you the stories in detail.
Ghana against Niger from the Accra Sports Stadium, the 6th and
Yes, we are up and we are grateful. This is Sports on Cocoa Digest. My name is Nanayo Asare, and I'll give you the stories in detail. I know it's heartbreak for a lot of Ghanaians, but let's shoulder on and let's move on. So the first story is Black Stars miss out on AFCON 2025 for the first time in 2 decades. That's since 2004. The Ghana Black Stars have missed out from qualifying for the Africa Cup of Nations 2025 following a 1-1 draw against Angola in Luanda on Friday. But this particular our departure was kind of cemented against Niger yesterday after we lost by 2-1 in Accra. The failure to qualify for AFCON 2025 raises critical concerns regarding the team's management, coaching and overall strategy. With the World Cup qualifiers approaching, Ghana needs to reflect on this campaign and embark on significant rebuilding efforts to gain its status as a continental powerhouse. Fans who have enjoyed years of excellence from the Black Stars are demanding a renewed commitment commitment to excellence and accountability to prevent such setbacks in future. Our next story talks about George Afriyie, who is calling for the termination of Otto Addo's contract. Otto Addo is a coach of the Ghana senior national team, the Black Stars. Football administrator George Afriyie has called for a review of Otto Addo's contract as head coach of the Black Stars following the team's failure to qualify for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. And AFCON was a key condition in Otto Addo's contract, and not meeting his targets could justify his dismissal. Qualification to AFCON is one of the conditions that can warrant the termination of a contract. It's a standard in these agreements, and failure to achieve that this gives the FA every reason to terminate the contract. Afriyie said in an interview with Graphic Sports. While pushing for Otto Addo's exit, he also highlighted the importance of a thorough evaluation of the coach's overall performance, including his management of the World Cup qualifiers, before making a final decision. We need to evaluate the coach's performance historically, including his handling of the World Cup qualifiers, to determine whether he should stay or he should go. George Afriyie explained. And to our next story, we say that CAF announces CAF Awards 2024 nominees for men's categories. The nominees for the CAF Awards 24 has been announced, and the excitement is rebuilding for the award ceremony set to take place in December 16th, 2024 in Marrakech, Morocco. This year's awards will recognize outstanding performances from January to October 2024. Among the players shortlisted for the prestigious CAF Awards is the African Player of the Year, such as Amin Guri of Algeria, Edmond Taspoa of Burkina Faso, and Ashraf Hakimi of Morocco, who was the finalist last year also. In a remarkable achievement, South Africa's Ronwen Williams, the goalkeeper, has received nomination in all three categories for Player of the Year, CAF Goalkeeper of the Year, and CAF Interclub Player of the Year. With such incredible talent in the run, and it promises to be a thrilling event as we await the announcement of the winners. And then in our last story, we go international and we go and find out that Rodrigo Bentancur has been fined 100,000 United Kingdom pounds and banned for 7 games for using a racial slur. Tottenham midfielder Rodrigo Bentancur has received a 7-match domestic ban from the Football Association following a racist comment he made about his teammate Son Heung-min during an interview. The FA charged Bentancur on September 12th for misconduct related to the media interview that surfaced in June. In the interview, when asked to show the shirt of a Spurs player, Bentancur remarked, "Sonny's, it could be Sonny's cousin too, as they all look like the same." Although he issued an apology soon after, the nature of the comment was deemed to be aggravated breach, leading to an independent regulatory commission panel needing to review the case to determine whether or not to uphold the FA's charge or to dismiss it. So these are the stories that are making rounds in the world of sports. And then now we are back in the studio where I have Miriam. Yes, you said you wanted to ask me a question.
Yes, so earlier during the newspaper review, I made mention of the fact that our coach was interviewed and was being termed as a scout, a better scout than being a coach. I want to take your view on that.
Well, the more reason why a lot of people think he's not done a lot of coaching is because his most high-profile job that he had was with Borussia Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund are one of the world-renowned clubs in Germany, and he scouted there for 6 months, helping the coaches in there. But he's been assistant coach throughout, from his days from Mönchengladbach, where he started his coaching career, all the way to traveling in and out of Germany to actually, and even helping Coach Kwesi Appiah in 2014, helping him to sort of analyze the German team's national team's tactics, which Ghana drew by 2 goals against a powerhouse like Germany. So that showed the fact that he is very, very sort of experienced when it comes to coaching. He's been coaching for at least since he was 39 years of age.
He's 40,
and he's 49. He's
49,
getting to 50. So you can actually see that
he's done a lot.
He's done quite a lot in when it comes to the world of coaching. And just to talk about the comments from that particular journalist, I felt it was a little bit personal. It was an attack to the coach, and it was sort of an indictment to the integrity of the coach. You know, and the GFA may be advising themselves whether to allow the journalists to sort of get very close to these coaches, because Coach Otto Addo, in as much as possible, you can see that it's just the results. If you're a technical football person, you can actually see that he's been playing some beautiful football, and the results are not going his way. You get the clear example was when the last game, that game before the Niger one, when we played against Sudan at the Accra Sports Stadium. We were there to take coverage of it live, and you could see that it wasn't his fault that we lost the game. It was due to certain individual mistakes on the pitch.
But then a lot of people have called on him to resign, because especially Sadiq Adams, who is an award-winning journalist, this morning tweeted that if it was in any African country, this coach would have resigned, including our current FA, executives or leaders. And personally, I also think that's a good thing, because resignation does not really mean that you are not good. But I feel you should give the opportunity to people that can maybe solve the problem that you might not be able to solve. Or what do you think?
So I think that Coach Otto Addo, clearly we've seen four different coaches under the Okreku administration, all with a win rate of below 50%. Coach Otto Addo's own is the least amongst them, which is lingering around 21% after his defeat against Niger. When you look at these statistics, it's glaring that you may point that let's sack him. But when you are actually watching and you've followed Ghana football for a long while, you know that sacking a coach is just a cycle until the next one comes, and then he's also sacked. We saw the likes of Seki Akono, the likes of
he wasn't sacked.
Kwesi Appiah and the likes, and they've all lost their jobs. But you see Kwesi Appiah also thriving very well for a country like Sudan, who have not played a game. So
should we go back for him?
You cannot go back for him. It's not as though he's there for you to just pick him up and
we can be monitoring his steps anytime he's free.
I feel that Otto Addo will still do a very good job when he leaves Ghana. So the problem that for the Black Stars is clearly not the coach, but there are other factors that we need to iron out in terms of the management of the senior national team, the Black Stars and the like. So if you want to talk deep into that, maybe I'll invite you for Clock Sports on Friday, and then we'll have an extensive
discussion. I can't wait, because I have a lot of things to talk about. I think I have a birthday message here.
Yes,
do you also have a birthday message?
Yes, I have a birthday message here. This is for Junior Ofori, the cables man himself, the cables man of the house. His firstborn is actually celebrating his birthday today. And coincidentally, my sister is also celebrating her birthday. My bigger sister, my older sister, is celebrating her birthday today. So the cables man, that's his Frimpong Ofori. He handles all the cables in this particular premise, and he does a very, very good job at that. And today is his firstborn's birthday. I wish we could actually call the cables man to actually say something. The general cables man, so you can actually
take so I have this from Yaira. Happy birthday to Linda Ganyo. May your life be as amazing as you are. Cheers to happier years ahead. Linda Ganyo, we are wishing you a happy birthday this morning. This is from your very own friend Yaira.
All right, so and also I'm saying it again, Kiki Ofori, that's his name. That's the cables man's firstborn. Kiki Ofori, happy birthday to you, and Kiki is a very, very beautiful girl. If you actually see her, so she's probably the junior cable woman that's coming up, and so that's just by the way. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday from all of us.
Yes,
your dad is an amazing person here with us in the studio. Cables man indeed. Without him, there are no connections.
Yes, and since we are doing sports with birthday, let me just also say a happy birthday to my older sister, Clara Asari, who is my fighting partner. And so happy birthday to you, Clara. You know how we do it. We'll talk about it later on. I think this is how we wrap up sports on Coco Digest. My name is Nanaya Asari. I was doing this today with Mimi Abna Adede, and then it's a wrap. We'll see you. Stay for business and stay for the rest of our programs on Coco Digest. Arrivederci.
Clog TV. Beyond the policy.
5.8 billion Ghana cedis, a shortfall of 16.81% of the 6.228 billion Ghana cedis it had planned to secure. This is according to the auction results released by Bank of Ghana. This development comes as a Supreme Court application filed by a private lawyer seeks to halt the issuance of treasury bills.
Shortfall, all bids submitted during the auction were accepted. The 91-day bill dominated, accounting for 3.942 billion Ghana cedis, or 76.1% of the total. The 182-day bill brought in approximately 653.43 million Ghana cedis, while the 364-day bill raised just over 584 million Ghana cedis. Meanwhile, interest rate on treasury bills have increased for the fourth consecutive week. The 91-day yield rose by 14 basis points to 26.96%. The 182-day rate climbed to 27.78%, and the 364-day bill edged up by 3 basis points to 29.21%. This trend highlights the government's ongoing challenges in meeting its financing.
In our last story, Dr. Ben Asante, CEO of Ghana Gas, is calling on investors to help revamp the Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing Company by building a state-of-the-art factory to meet local demand for gas cylinders and cook stoves. With plans for future exports, this follows the government approval for the Ghana Gas to acquire Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing Company earlier this year, a move aimed at boosting local production and strengthening the economy. Dr. Asante also revealed that Ghana Gas has saved $250 million United States dollars by using local engineers for gas plant projects, reducing dependency on foreign expertise. This is how we wrap up the business update segment. I am Clement Yabankwe. Do enjoy the rest of the show.
awareness. And today I have two guests, and one is an advocate for sickle cell awareness, and she is in the person of Madame Charlotte Owusu. And then, of course, our second guest is Dr. Esther Yemole Manome. She is a doctor at the Princess Marie Louise Children's Hospital. We've had her here before, but today she'll be joining us via phone in. So let's get interactive with our guest who is here with us. She is the advocate for, you know, sickle cell. So, Madame Charlotte Owusu, thank you so much for joining us here.
It's a pleasure.
So, let's get quickly into it. You're an advocate for sickle cell. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. We started with advocating for sickle cell condition, people knowing what sickle cell is, understanding and knowing how to take care of. And after going through so many challenges, we finally realized the best thing, was to look at the prevention of the disease. Because as we all are aware, every disease, there's a way of preventing it or minimizing it or whatever.
Yeah.
So now our focus is mainly on prevention of sickle cell. And I happen to be the founder and CEO of Sickle Cell Condition Advocates.
Okay.
With a set of board members who are senior citizens and who are behind the scene working with us.
So what inspired your journey in the sickle cell advocacy?
Yes. You know, when I never heard of, I don't remember until I had a child with sickle cell, I didn't hear this word sickle, even sickle and cell. Because maybe when you are in the secondary school, you do a little of science, and then you can go into the sickle, they explain to you how you get it and all that, but I didn't go to the secondary school. All my mates went to the secondary school, but I went straight to the training college and did general arts, and then we didn't mention sickle cell in there. So as soon as I was out of college and got my second course, which I did in art education.
Okay.
Yes, in St. Monica's Art Specialist Art Training College. After that, I got married. Soon after college, at St. Monica's Mampo Ashanti, I got married, and my man was eager to immediately. In fact, if I didn't get pregnant soon as we came together, I think he would have left me and gone in for another person, because he thought he has spent so much time in educating himself as a chartered accountant. So when he came back from UK, he thought if he gets a woman to marry, the first thing is to get him marry her, and then they start having their children. Unfortunately, I was blessed, and the first, when he saw my parents and we came together, the second month, I was pregnant. Went through pregnancy, and I had this baby in 1978.
Okay.
Then immediately after that, I was nursing this girl, so a baby girl. I was pregnant with a second one, but during that pregnancy time, I was always in hospital with the first one, the girl. Sick today, she will be sick the next day. It's just that often we are in Kolebu. Fortunately, we were staying at Tansuman, which was quite near Kolebu. So we were just going in and out of Kolebu. Then one day they decided to do a test on her for sickle, and they told me my child had sickle cell disease. I said, what is sickle cell disease? At that level, I didn't know anything, so I started seriously going through whatever, asking questions here and there, seeing people to know what is expected of me as a mother to this baby. And I was pregnant with the second one. When I had the second one too, she was also diagnosed to have sickle cell. So it was a big challenge, and I said, I have to do something about it. Spoke to everybody, almost anybody I saw who could tell me something about sickle cell, especially those in the health sector, doctors, nurses, laboratory. What does it do? What should we do? And so I learned a lot, and I started reading about it. I said, no, this needs attention, special attention. So when I went to the, normally when we have times we have to go and do, even if the baby is not sick, you have to send the child to the hospital for checkup to make sure he or she is okay. So when we go for checkups, you see these mothers sitting there, so sad, and I asked, why are you so sad? I said, the child, they will tell me all about what they have experienced, and their children were much older than mine. And so I think we can manage. So let's encourage ourselves and let's try to help them as we are advised by the medical staff and anybody there. Whoever, we had so many people talking to us when we go. So I became an advocate at that time. When I had the 2 children, I started talking to people about it, telling them, God doesn't do things by chance. So if we have got these children, sometimes you ask a mother, he has only one among 2 other children, And I say, I have 2, and they all have the condition, but I'm managing. Let's all try and manage. So I was asking to know what exactly we should do. So I did my best for my children in Kolebu. They even declared me as an ideal mother.
Oh,
yes, and they asked community health nurses to come to my house and see how I've managed it, because I was managing them very well. So they weren't often going into crisis.
Okay.
So I managed them until at a certain stage when I realized that the thing is so difficult to manage. So we have to find a way out of getting our people to know what it is. So we formed an association in Tema. I moved to Tema. So I formed a group called Sickle Cell Parents Patients Association, and I was the president of the association. And all we do is to bring them together once a week on a Thursday, and then bring in nurses, doctors, community health nurses, dietitians, and all people who would equip them, get them the needed knowledge to be able to manage these children. And we're doing that until we realized that we got a place at Kaiko Hospital, Dr. Kaiko's hospital in Tema. And he gave us a place as our meeting area. Formerly we were at St. Mary's secondary school in Tema. So we moved to Kaiko, and there we were coming together every week. And the man, Dr. Kaiko, is a very, 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 very good person, and he helped us. He's on our board now.
Okay.
And he managed to get us a doctor who was from South Africa, the late Professor Ankrabedu, and he opened the clinic for us. And he was coming once a week to see patients who were very sick and who had something they couldn't manage, and they come, even though they'll go to other hospitals. During the day we have to meet him, they'll come and see him and you attend to them. And later we realized that in Tema, like a shaman, Tema Newton, and other people who were coming from this area, they couldn't afford to come to the private hospital, even though they wasn't charging, but they said they were afraid to come if they asked them to pay something. So we managed to set a clinic at Tema General Hospital.
Okay.
Yes. And then we had a clinic there. We had a nurse who also had a daughter who had sickle cell. So he really helped us to make this happen. And the then director, we had a meeting with her and said we wanted them to help us have a clinic and have doctors who manage them for us throughout the week, because it's not once a week kind of thing, which we'll do for them. And we did it. And we had a clinic there. Meanwhile, at Kaiko Hospital, we finally had a specialist, at Dr. Adiobu, late Dr. Adiobu. May his soul rest in peace. He started running the clinic on daily basis for us. It was wonderful. In fact, he's an expert in sickle cell. He did it in US. So he was very good. He was a pediatrician, but was very good in sickle cell. So he was seeing our people, some of our people there. Some of us were going to General Hospital, and the doctors did very well. But before we started the clinic, we did a workshop, some kind of orientation for the doctors in Tema municipality, doctors and nurses. So we put doctors together in a hotel and had experts from Kolebu and other places to come and talk to them on how to manage them when they are children, when they are in adolescence, when they are adults, and when they are in pregnancy, and to let them understand what sickle cell disease is. And it really helped them. They were very, very happy. And they managed the clinics for us.
So you mentioned you had your children somewhere in the 1970s, and you've been an advocate since. So that's about 30, late 30s, 40 something years,
40,
right?
About 46 years.
46 years, wow. So I'm sure then that you can tell us the basic things, just like I'm sure you've spoken to a number of mothers out there, so there are mothers watching. So what are some of the basic things you can tell these mothers about how to handle sickle cell, like you said, during pregnancy, infancy, to all the way into adulthood?
Yes, when I speak, some people ask me if I'm not a doctor. I've learned on the job, taking care of these children. I really learned, and even started going abroad to associate myself with the Sickle Cell Society of UK. And so I went into clinics, went and sat down with doctors as they take consultation rooms as they take care of them, and I did the counseling for them because it's mainly a black disease. Yes. And so I learned a lot from the onset. We know that these children are special. We were told by one doctor, Dr. Hansen, he's in Tema, Mrs. Hansen, Dr. Mrs. Hansen, so that these children are special. They change. Today they are like that, the next day they tell you, you were okay, why are you not behaving this way? They don't understand. I say, that is it. They change. That woman taught us that they change, so we should just be aware that they will change from time to time and do things which we wouldn't understand, but we should take it. The most important thing for parents is to take care of them, because I know they are special. Every parent who has a sickle cell child says he or she is the most intelligent about the children. They do very well, and because of that they come with the problems. And so what we do is, first we taught the mothers to let the children take a lot of water. Water therapy is a very good thing for them. At the early stages, you have to encourage them. If you encourage them at the early stages to drink a lot of water, it flushes their system, and they get. Doctors will explain to you when you ask them.
So in the pregnancy stage, I think with sickle cell, we the youth, we are usually told that you have to go and get tested for your genotype. So when you are pregnant, you and your husband are both carriers, and you're pregnant. From that stage, what are some of the advices that you are given?
Let me finish this conversation. That taking care, you have to give extra care to the child who has sickle cell. You can't treat them the same. Yes, their food, their drinks, food. The good healthy foods they should take. Mothers, as a mother, every mother knows it. You can't deny them, otherwise they will go into crisis. Sometimes they can't fight the disease when it comes. Yes. Now, we have done a lot of work, including setting up clinics, not only in Tema, but we formed a national association to set clinics in the regions. We have clinic in Kufodia, Sunyani, Kumasi. We had this. Come again.
You need water.
Water in my bag. In Kumasi, we had Sickle Cell Foundation there. They started this doing newborn screening. So they started a program on, taking care of the kids who had sickle cell. They screen newborn babies, and when we put them together, they tell the mothers what to do with them. So first of all, we had the Parents Patients Association letting parents know how to take care. We had doctors and nurses to help us set clinics. We went into the regions with the groups, association groups. We formed the National Association of Sickle Cell, and I was the national organizing secretary. So I made sure that every region should get it. We couldn't finish that we couldn't finish with all the regions, and I had to leave and do something else. Then we had Sickle Cell Foundation, they were doing the newborn screening. They are still doing the newborn screening with government. And then I was the first administrative director for the Sickle Cell Foundation of Ghana. So I was there and I took note of all what was going on. So I know how they are managing them. It's a good plan anyway. So if you don't know and you fall in love, have a baby, you should know the status of the baby before he falls into crisis, which you may lose the child very young. In fact, babies, according to statistics which have come out long ago, about children who die with sickle cell, who die at the age of 5. Most of them die before the age 5 because parents are not able to manage them well. But if they are able to cross it, then they can live. But now, because of the vaccines and other things helping them and medicines, it is helping them. So from Sickle Cell Foundation, I realized that there's the need for prevention. And I was traveling up and down London, and I realized that it could be done. If we know the status of you, the mother, and the people who are coming together. You know your status. You can easily advise yourself. And it is that, fortunately, God does everything so perfectly well. When I realized it, I was so happy. I said, hey, so we can easily get rid of this. Now, if I go through my statistics, I brought my statistics here. About 75% of people, the black skin people who have some of them who are supposed to have the sickle don't have sickle in them. They are AA. Negative 75. In our small office in Sakomono, I've brought my books here. You can go through and see that. You see that AAs are so many, and we say, and we have 23% who are the healthy carriers, AS and AC. They are the healthy carriers. They are very strong. They don't even get malaria often. And when they come together, there's a 25% chance that they may have a child with sickle cell. Like me and my husband, we were both carriers, healthy carriers, AS. And now only 2 children have sickle cell. You see, some would even have 5 and none of them would. You cannot tell. So I don't see any sense in going to a person with whom there's a probability that you have a child with sickle cell. So when we realize that, and then the SS are only 2%, SS and SC, they are only 2%, but there are problems which they give to the families. It means a whole family. If one is in a family of 5, the whole family are affected somehow. A woman came, the last lady, a woman of 62 years, came weeping, said because of her siblings, other siblings, 2 or 3 died before the mother died. They were not happy in that home. She used to stop, she had to stop going to school and look after, it affects a whole family. You get me? So it isn't like only those 2% people who suffer. Now it affects them from what we have learned. It affects them to the extent that even when, after all the care, like me, I'll break my story. After all the care, all the attention I gave to my child, when she got malaria, they couldn't detect it early in Kolebu. I went in and out, in and out, in and out. The third day, I realized I couldn't keep her in the house, and sent her to the doctor in the bungalow, because the sickle cell clinic in Kulebu closes after 2:30 or 3. So if you have to go to polyclinic or the emergency or those places where the specialists are not there. You get me? So I sent him. The next day, she died.
Oh.
Yes. So I lost her at the age of 17 after all the struggle. And then I just said, this thing should be stopped. And the way of getting rid of sickle cell, like we did with COVID, try all of us consciously, make sure we don't let COVID kill us, isn't it?
Yes.
If you decide to stay in your home without going out, you say, I'll take 1, 2, 3 months leave without pay. I want to travel, I'm going somewhere, you stay indoors. Will you get COVID?
No.
We were all so conscious. We did everything to make sure we fight it. And by God's grace, we fought it, and we didn't lose so many people during COVID. In the same way, if we should fight sickle cell, like making sure careers don't come together, even though they can, there's a possibility, I can show you that statistics. There's a possibility that they can get healthy children, even an AA. It's 25% chance that they can even have an AA, and 50% chance that they can even have an AS, a healthy carrier. And that 25% chance that they have a sickle cell baby. You get me? So all we are saying is we should screen, get them to know their status before they fall in love.
Okay.
And we have carried this on from the time we set up our office. People coming in telling us, so what do we do? What do we do? So there's a way out. Let's go forward.
We will come back quickly shortly after this break. It's getting very, very informative here. So call a friend, call your brother, your sister, your parents to join in the conversation here, to tune in to Clock TV to watch the Cocoa Digest Morning Show. We are talking about sickle cell awareness so that you can learn something. And of course, as she said, if you are AS and your partner is AS, you know that there's trouble on the mountain. Yes, don't forget to send in your comments to our WhatsApp number displayed on your screen. We will open the phone lines shortly, and also our Dr. Esther Yemule would also be joining us via phone in right after this break. Don't go anywhere. You're welcome back to the Cocoa Digest Morning Show. If you're just tuning in, this is the Cocoa Digest Morning Show, and we're having a conversation about sickle cell disease awareness. And joining us in the studio this morning, we have an advocate for sickle cell, and she's in the person of Madame Charlotte Owusu, and she's sharing her experience with sickle cell, the information she also knows, and how far her advocacy has come. So yes, back to our conversation. Where were we? Let's pick up. So yes, my cherished viewers, don't forget to send in your questions. Anything you want to ask Madame Charlotte Owusu, she would be very willing to answer. And of course, you can also send your experiences. Our doctor would also be joining us via phone in. So if you have any medical questions to ask her as well, we would be glad to relay your questions to her too. So Madame Charlotte, yes. So back to the sickle cell. Just during the break, I was asking that in your time, wasn't there the chance to do the testing, the AS for your partner, as you were talking about, if you know your status?
It wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
We were just having the children, and fortunately later on that this even newborn screening came in.
Okay.
But you know, we realized that when we opened the first office in Sakumono, you know, in the 2007, 2008, people started coming in. We wrote on top, if you want any information on sickle cell or counseling, because I had really learned a lot, and I felt I should share it with my people who needed that information. So they came and told their stories, so many stories. We've documented most of this to be screened later on for people to see how serious the thing is. And so they asked, what are you doing? So we try to see our best. But what we can do is, at the moment, we know that if, you know, we asked, when we formed the parents group in Tema, we realized that the course is two parents giving it to their. So we wrote to the churches that before they put people together, they should let them go and check sickle cell. We started that in the late 90s.
Thank you so much.
Yes, we started that from Tema, and then they were doing it. And that time, our doctor had Dr. Kaiko's hospital, Dr. Diopo, realized that when they come and they even text and they see they are not compatible, they don't want to separate. They say they'll try God will do it. Yes, that's all we say. And then even with believers, they feel that they trust God. It's their careers, but they will know God will do it for us. So we realized that it was he said no, we should do it. And he was also a member of our board. We have doctors on board, our thing, Dr. Kaiko, Dr. Diopo. They are all members of board. And they said no, it's to be too late to tell them when they have come together to get married. So we should start early.
Okay.
Now, how do we start early? Fortunately, Legon came up with a program. Legon, School for Biological Sciences. They said during their 75th anniversary, they called us to the school, and we went in with MDS Lancet, and then we give the education, show them films. We have a lot of things to show to the public. We show it to them, and then they go to do the test, and the test, they will get the results the next day. So we were there for 5 days, from Monday to Friday. So the next day, Monday, those who did it would. But we realized that some of them, after testing them, paying for it, would not come for the results. I still have some of the results in my office.
I see. Okay, so we have our doctor on the line. Hello, Dr. Yes, Dr. Esther Yemole. Have we lost her? Oh. Okay, so we will get her back very soon. So, Madam Charlotte, I think I would like us to talk more about how to take care of them. What are some of the things? You mentioned water, but having a sickle cell patient with you, what are some of the main things that you did or would advise we do to help manage their...
Parents do their best. Some of these rich parents, they do their best, but they lose them.
Oh.
Yes. So I don't even want to go there. When I go there, I feel very sad. What I'm interested in is the prevention.
Prevention.
So
okay.
they themselves started that, the young ones started, we should prevent. And how do, if we ask them to go and come back the next day for the arrest, they are not coming. So we prayed and God heard us. We were there in our office one day and a team came up with this kit. They test you within 10 minutes.
You can
So
tell.
we started screening around. If you look at my statistics, we have over 5,000 people we've tested.
Okay.
And they know their results, and we know they wouldn't go to have children with sickle cell. So the doctor will talk about it.
Yes, we have the doctor back on the line. So Dr. Yamole, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us here. We're about to we are talking about the sickle cell awareness and prevention. So Madam Charity here is mainly an advocate. Charlotte, sorry, she's an advocate, and you are the medical professional. So can you quickly give us a brief overview of sickle cell, what it is, what does it mean if somebody has sickle cell from the medical point of view?
All right. So, good morning to your audience, and thank you, Madam Charlotte, for the information you've given us and for all the work you've done. I would not want to give a scientific definition. I would explain so that it becomes clear to everyone listening. The sickle cell is a group of blood disorders that one can inherit from his or her parents. And when we talk of sickle cell, it has to do with a wide range of other health conditions aside the normal SS that people know. Our blood is made up of water and then cells known as the red blood cells. There are others like the white blood cells, etc. And the normal shape of the red blood cell is biconcave, so we can say round in shape. However, when it comes to sickle cell patients, their one tends to be sickled when the oxygen level in the blood is reduced. So I sent some pictures earlier. The first one will be what I'm talking about right now. It's the very first picture that I sent. I labeled it picture 1. So what happens is that when the oxygen level of the body in a sickle cell patient goes down, the cell tends to take an abnormal shape. And when that happens, when it gets to the small veins of the blood system, it blocks the system and then causes them pain, as well as causes the breakdown of the blood cells. So sickle cell is just a disorder that has to do with abnormality of those red blood cells. Yes.
Okay.
I answered the first question.
Okay, so I have a question here from one of our viewers. She says, my firstborn is SS and my second is AS. I am afraid to give birth again. My husband and I are both AS. So in a situation where you and your partner are both AS, is there any modifications that the professionals do to help, like the way we have the IVF for the fertility treatments and things?
Okay, so what happens is that with regard to such a case, the options are one, genetic testing while the child is in the womb.
Okay.
That is quite expensive. So no one helps to identify whether the child you're going to deliver has sickle cell or not. But I find that when the child is delivered, if we are lucky, yes, you may have a child, mean that it has normal red blood cells. But then if that has SS, then the treatment or the cure is the bone marrow transplant. Again, it's expensive. Other than that, whoever else can, when the child has the sickle cell disease, then it means that the child will just continue to have pain management and optimal management and care, but will keep coming with prices back and forth.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are the complications and even common symptoms of sickle cell, physically?
All right. Physically, all right. So one of the things that we see with them is that they have dactylitis. Dactylitis is the bone. Dactylitis is we call it the hand-foot syndrome. So you find that their hands are swollen or that their legs are swollen, and then they have a certain level of pain. Another symptom is the jaundice, the yellowing of the eyes. So many times, typical for patients, you realize that they have some yellowing of their eyes. Others too, when they come, you realize that they have some form of, we call it frontal posture. Their head looks a bit, the forehead is a bit prominent. It is a sign that this child that is we are looking at, it looks like they have it's a sickle cell disease cell. Likewise, that the other signs are that they easily get tired. And they are often pale. Yes, those are the main things. And they come up with a lot of infections and so some recurrent coughs here and there, and then pain at other places. It's mostly pain most of the time.
Okay. So when we were younger, we used to have this sort of misconception that if you are falling sick all the time, it means you have sickle cell. How true is that?
That's not true.
Okay.
Sickle cell, yes, they do come with a lot of infections because of the nature of the disease. However, in childhood, especially 5 years, many times, children, especially at the school-going age, they carry a lot of infections from school. So, typically, you will realize that they have cold, and fever, and that is normal in children because they pick from their fellow classmates. When they are treated, the next time they are going back to school, another person has caught the disease, and then they circulate it amongst themselves. So it's not necessarily for the fact other health conditions like diabetes, which is being on the children, that results in their immune system being low, or they also are prone to infection. So someone currently gets sick, it's not necessarily as a result of sickle cell. HIV can also cause the pain.
Okay. So we also hear that the people with the carriers of sickle cell are not as prone to malaria as the people with AA. How true is that as well?
Come again, please.
So there's also this sort of this thing going around that people with sickle cell don't tend to get malaria, or they are able to fight off malaria better than people who don't carry the sickle cell gene. How true is that?
Yes, that is true.
Okay.
It has been found that sometimes they just are not able to survive.
Okay.
With that, with the sickling of the cells. Yes.
Okay. So can you give us a brief breakdown? I'm sure we have images of the AA, AS, SC, SS, those short those terms that are used to denote the carriers and then the patients and things like that.
Yes, please. So it will come up shortly.
Okay.
It shows the sickle cell variation. We want to comment down on the sickle cell, the SS more?
Yes, if you can tell us a bit of everything.
Okay, that's fine. So the one of the pictures that I sent that has AS and AA. So this one. Okay, so when someone has a mom or a dad with AS, then it's a 50% of their children being carriers. So you have the gene, their carrier, one S. If you have the S's, they are said to be sickle cell anemia. Okay.
Sorry, Doc. Please, could you adjust yourself a little? The line is breaking.
Okay. I was saying that.
Yes, it's better. Thank you.
When sickle cell carriers, liver. I don't think I want someone having one S genotype.
Okay.
Okay, when you have two STI types, you say the person has sickle cell anemia.
Okay.
Okay. So if the two of them do have children, there's a 50% chance of their children being AS, being carried as well. And then there's a 25% chance of they having a full sickle cell child, and a 25% chance of having a normal red blood cell child. So that is that for two carriers.
Okay.
Then the next picture has a broader, has more number of depictions of the probabilities. If that could come up, it makes it easier.
Okay.
We have that now.
Yes, my producers are switching to the next picture.
Okay. So if a carrier or if someone who is normal, has normal genes, they have the tendency of having normal children who are normal, and then one of them being a carrier.
Okay.
Yes. And in a case where they have, if all of them have SS, then all their children are going to be SS. In the same way, there are aggressive sickle cell anemia, aggressive sickle cell disease. Sickle cell disease is a combination of one of the S's, the other variations of the sickle cell disease. So we have C, we have beta thalassemia, we have OR. So if someone is not SS, the person can still have sickle cell disease. So the person is said to be sickle cell disease if the person has one S plus any of these that I've mentioned. It can be sickle cell SE, it can be S beta thalassemia, it can be SOR. So those are the other variations. So in the inheritance is the same pattern.
Okay.
If any of the parents have one of the sickle cell disease trait, the probability goes on in the same way.
Okay.
I hope that is clear.
Yeah. So what's the difference between the SS and then the SC? Because we usually see posts AS plus AS negative, you shouldn't marry, SS plus SC. Or what's the difference in the SS and the SC?
So it has been said that it's still a study ongoing, that the SC is not as bad as the SS.
Okay.
But they are all genetic mutations. They are all okay while the child is being formed. Yeah. So something goes wrong, and then information goes wrong, and it happens that the child comes up with any of these variations.
Okay. So in a situation where two people are AC, is there a possibility that like the 25% chance in the AS having the SS child, is there a possibility of having something like CC?
I haven't come across.
Okay.
It's going to be that I haven't come across.
Okay, okay. So
it's like the way SC, as they are saying.
Well, whether SC or AC, is there anything like CC? That's what I'm asking. And what would it mean?
I haven't come across but I'll check it.
Okay. Okay. So with two people, the SC, if two people with SC come together, is their child going to be possibly a casualty?
Come again. So I didn't hear you.
So two people with the SC genotype, if they come together, what is the risk in a situation like that?
Okay, so with two people SC, when we have SS, we would have SC.
Okay.
We also have SC and then SCC.
Okay.
Yes. So CC, I've had to research on that. I'll give you feedback, but then most likely it's going to be milder because with C, it is a malform. And then I've learned some time back that most people with ST, for instance, most people that inherit ET, for instance, if I remember clearly, they don't have symptoms. I may experience some of mild anemia.
Okay.
Yes. So they will have the stillness, they will have the lightheadedness, and some of them we don't get to see. Which means that sometimes when the HP electrophoresis, that is the testing is done, many people have the tendency of picking the other common fluids, the SPAS more than the other variants. So I haven't seen an HPCT myself.
Okay.
But then yes, the mouth and symptoms are likely to be
okay. So we have a question here. This one says, Yaira, I love this topic. Thank you, Cocoa Digest, and thanks to your guests. My question is, newborn screening and early intervention of the sickle cell disease, how do we go about that? So for both in-house and food.
So when you take your child to a hospital, you can make the request for that. We do not test for sickle cells for children below 6 months.
Okay.
We prefer checking after 6 months because at 6 months they are protected.
Okay.
Because they are protected, they have what we call the fetal hemoglobin F. So you don't get a true picture of what is going on in regards to whether they have a sickle cell, we do the sickle cell trait. So it's a routine test, even in children's hospital. Whenever we get a child coming in, more than 6 months, we do the testing for them to be sure that they have normal RBCs. Else, we start them on at the sickle cell clinic and do the education that needs to be done. At genetic testing, if they want, there are special hospitals that are into that. So,
okay.
I hope that also answers that.
Thank you. So we have another comment here. This goes to you. It says, hello, Madam Yaira. Good morning. Tell Madam Charlotte I love her presentation and I'm so sorry for her loss. God bless Cocoa Digest for this wonderful topic. I am Mr. Anka from Spintex. Thank you so much. So yes, before we come back to you, Doc, Madam Charlotte says she has a registry where she has actually encountered people with the CC1, just one person so far.
Wow, okay.
We've done over almost 5,000.
Mm-hmm.
Only one.
Oh, okay. Yes. So, can you tell me a little bit about the person, or you didn't have much interaction?
We didn't have much interaction.
Okay, but
maybe the doctor, if he knows how it has affected somebody, but she came in as wanting to know her status, and we realized it was CC, and we just questioned her. She kept falling sick of it, saying no. So she's just like lying in between AS and SS. You get me?
Okay. So were the doctors able to speak to this particular genotype, that if there are any symptoms like this,
like
SS, maybe the CC too? What are the specific traits of that one?
I saw her as a normal.
Okay.
Yes, she doesn't look like a one with sickle cell SS, as the SS. As doctor said, the SS are the most serious, and then the SC, but the CC just once throughout this. How many years we've started this screening? Only one person have been tested with SS in my records.
Okay.
He was tested on who did the 22 September 9th August 22.
Oh, okay. So this was in 2022.
And we haven't come across any of that kind.
Okay. So with people who want to come together, I think, Doc, if you can help us with this one, are there any kinds of modifications we can do? I think I saw a post about how now doctors can alter the genes of a child so that the parent does not pass on HIV to them. Is there something like that in maybe some research underway for something like that for sickle cell?
There are studies there because we are looking out for ways to have this done, but none has been particularly established.
Okay.
So far, all we know is the one that has got to the genetic testing prior to the delivery, and then the bone marrow transplant, the stem cell transplant. So the stem cell transplant is found to be the cure. With regards to the modifications, maybe from low carriers, depends on, genetically modified.
Okay.
Not particularly established. Yes, but studies are ongoing with regards to it.
Okay. So, Doc, before we release you this time, what are some of the treatments that you would recommend for someone with sickle cell, or even lifestyle options?
Okay. So there are various types of sickle cell. One of them, the main thing is dehydration.
Okay.
So many times we tell the sickle patients keep drinking water. They should take a lot of water, and their water requirement is dependent on their weight. So whenever they come in, we talk to them about that. And they are to avoid very cold temperatures.
Okay.
Aside that, they also have to avoid stressful events. Things that cause them so much stress, so much tiredness, they are supposed to reduce that. Aside that, they are to also protect themselves from various diseases. From getting various infections. Because their immune system is not as strong.
Okay.
One thing we do is prevention. So one of the preventive measures is ensuring that everyone is supposed to be immunized against pneumococcal diseases, immunization against infections that can cause chest problems, especially. And we have also mentioned to them, and we do mention that whenever they are ill, they should ensure they seek treatment first, else can escalate.
Yeah.
So if you see any sign that makes you feel unwell, any sign that makes you feel unwell, they are supposed to report to the hospital. They don't treat it by themselves.
Okay. So
then lastly, we ensure that they are on penicillin D. Okay. They also, some of them are also on hydroxyurea. To protect them from frequent admissions in the hospital. So those are all the things that we do for them. We also put them on hematinic, folic acid, and then melatonin, so that they are up with their blood levels, because anemia can be disturbing for them as well. Yeah.
Okay, so we have questions for both of you. So this one says, "Hi, I'm Mrs. Aye. I also made that mistake of getting married to an AS, which now I have only one child, and that child is suffering right now. I had no option than to divorce my husband because I don't want my other children to suffer as well. Kindly ask the doctor if there's any vaccination schedules and preventive measures that we can undertake."
Okay, I think you should discuss the hospital. I don't know how old the child is at the moment, but then we do have sickle cell clinics in various hospitals.
Okay.
So what we do is, like I mentioned, we take their baseline, NDC, and then we do other lab tests like their blood urea creatinine, etc., and then do a test. Then, depending on the state of the child, we start them up on hydroxyurea, and then keep them on the penicillin D and their hematinics. And then we do we give the routine visits to the hospital, and that has been found to be very helpful in many of the cases. The crisis can come, but then until the person goes for a bone marrow transplant, the cure the person is not likely to have a cure, but then it's coming managed, and they will have less crisis with these helpful measures. Yes.
Okay. So another person is asking what foods are good for them, and is air condition also good for them? I remember you mentioned that low temperatures, they should avoid the cold. So I think AC, maybe they should manage the temperature, because I mean the weather is hot. So yes, what foods are good for people with sickle cell, any of the anemia or the sickle cell diseases?
So the food that is good for them is that of the iron producing one.
Okay.
So BBC vegetables are perfect for them because they help them boost their blood levels. Fruit vegetables awesome. And foods especially that have enough water, so their watermelon and juices, they help them a lot. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Esther Yamole. Thank you so much for joining us and educating us. We hope to see you in the studios very, very soon once again. Do have a good day.
Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you too. So, Madam Charlotte, back to you. Your journey in the advocacy, what are some of the challenges you faced over the years?
When we talk about prevention, people think we are not being fair or sincere because somebody loves someone. Why should he not marry the person? But as you just heard from the old lady, she divorced her.
She had to divorce her
my husband sacked me from the house.
Oh.
The house I bought with him. He went and married a woman who is AA and had 4 healthy children with her. Look, it's not a joke. We can't play with this kind of games. What we are doing to get these children into this situation, I mean, those suffering with sickle cell, some know they are carriers and they want to marry. They give birth to the children. As we have a whole book of stories they come to tell us. For instance, a reverend minister who knew he was an AS, a wife was an AS. They said they were trusting God. And so they came together and the first child has sickle cell. The second didn't have, was AA, also AS. And this boy is now almost 19 years. She had a serious, but she was always in hospital. You know, management, you can manage. Didn't I manage as a very good, as they call it, an ideal mother? But, you know, the circumstance, sometimes you can't even get the prompt attention for your child. You go to the hospital at Kolebu or this weekend, someone came in to the office. My son was around. So immediately she was the mother. She came without the boy of 24 years who has finished university and doing national. She came without the boy and said, you have come, you didn't bring it. Also, Fear, let's go home and I'll bring him and they would take me. So my son took off our car, quickly drove to him to the house, picked the pin, blew the horn till he landed him in there. A hospital, a private hospital in Tema, that is a Lagoon clinic. We have a specialist there who is taking good care of them, and then she took care of her, and he's out of hospital. Yesterday I spoke to the woman. The woman don't know how to thank us. I said, you should thank God. You know, we in such cases, if you don't get prompt attention, what happens? You lose your. So people have lost about, if they are 4, he has lost about 3 or 4 of them, all of them. This man who has a child with sickle cell and was going into frequent crisis, one day said, why do you people do this to me? At this level, he knows that you people knew you were carriers. And then you give, you know, sickle cell crisis cannot even be compared with labor.
Wow.
Yes, a woman who is SC had 5 children. 2 of them were twins. 2 were twins. And he said you can't compare sickle cell crisis with labor. So you can imagine somebody it even affects their mental ability. It's serious. So we can't play with it and just talk about vaccines, talk about this and that. The only thing is to prevent, and it's very simple, common sense. We should let them know in the secondary school. We've tried testing them in the basic schools, in the secondary schools with permission from their parents, and then the secondary, universities. Everywhere. I have even been to the market, chop bars to screen. When we had last year, we had about 7,000 plus vaccines for free. So I was doing most of them for free. Because some of them, they had to, if I know you can pay, I'll let you pay. We went to the marketplaces, we went to churches, we have sample tests all around. We even went to Kumasi to test the Ahmadians. We have been to the Chief Imam's mosque at Fadama. So we've got all this, that's the report I brought. We've got all all this to prove that the people are ready to test before they fall in love. They've now known the seriousness of the disease and they don't want to take chances. Now this man I'm talking to you about, the Reverend Minister, you know, at the time the boy confronted him in such a way that he said he almost went to committed suicide. Yes, he confessed, and you know what happened? We went to see them at their head office. He said, Reverend Minister, we were going to the head office to ask permission to enter some of their local churches around our place. And then we sat, my secretary and myself were there, and the 3 Reverend Ministers, he included. And then the man who brought us, another Reverend Minister from our place, brought us, this lady, they are going to see opinion to get a chance to screen some of our young ones. And he said, they do screening of sickle cell. Then he left us and we were together with them, and he started his story. He wept in front of us. I even had to leave the scene. You know, it's not joke. We can't play with people's life. The pain is too much for people to bear. What parents go through, you know, it's too much to bear. So now they've come in their numbers voluntarily, coming to test before, but we can't handle that. Fortunately, God being so well, we have managed to get the whole faith groups, Christian Council, Pentecostal and Charismatic Council, SDA, Catholic Bishop Conference, then the Muslim community, the Ahmadiyans, and then the chiefs, traditional chiefs and leaders. You know, through the Ministry of Chieftaincy, and we've got all of it. We are just about to sign a memo of understanding. They've agreed. We had a conference in June 19th, our World Sickle Cell Day. They all came, we discussed it, and they all agreed, no, we have to do this for the young, so that the next generation will not have it.
That's really beautiful. That's amazing.
We can go through this. If my son were to come, as soon as they come to the office and they are in love and they are trying to play, he looks at them and say, look, you people, you fine, looking good, like you, beautiful. If you are AS, and then you have another AS, you think you have a good, then you have children which you can.
And it will be a result of selfishness.
Selfishness.
You will
my son will not even sit down. He stands on them and say, "Also, so you think you are in love, so you should bring somebody to the world to suffer." How can we be so wicked? The whites will never do this to their siblings, their people. They would never. And the way forward is this vaccine, which you can. Normally, when they were doing it in the laboratory, some of the results were not coming out. You know, laboratories there could be little. It happens. Mass screening in the universities. Two people got involved and they wanted to marry. They were tested to be AAA. When they went to do it outside, they were both carriers and they had to stop. I don't want to mention the church. In the church, they said, no, you can't marry. You see, we should be realistic. We can't punish our people like that. For how long? And we'll allow these people to bring in their vaccines to give it to the earth when we can have a way of. So the next generation of youth are saying, we don't want to have sickle cell children. You will get screened, and they are. Even this morning, yesterday, they called me. Not today, this morning, I didn't get any. I haven't got a call. Yesterday, they called me. Can I come and I say, I've stopped screening. I'm giving it to your churches. So if you are not ready, go to a lab and test. And then when your church is ready, they can do it for you at a very reasonable cost. And you know, and you partner well. That's all. You don't fall in love and say, oh, and you use your head. You wouldn't use your head. You use your heart. I'm in love. So then you heard what doctor said. How can they know that they have a child who is sick? Because they can know when the child is in your belly, isn't it? And you know what they want to do? They want to abort their children. If you look at this. So you go in and say, oh, if it's a couple came and told us this. If we have a child and you just get rid of it and go on to another, is it what we want to happen in this country for us? No. Abortion for sick people, aborting sickle cell children. We have to be very realistic. We are Christians, or we are believers, not Christians. You know that even the Muslims have strong beliefs that they feel that is the best way out. So let's start it. So very soon they will start doing their own thing. We are here to get the vaccines and other things for them.
For the infections and things, yes.
No, I mean the strips.
The strips to test quickly.
It takes only 10 minutes.
Okay.
And it doesn't cost. It wouldn't cost for a church. It wouldn't cost more than 50 cedis.
Okay.
They get it done for their people. Isn't it reasonable?
Yes, it is very reasonable.
Waiting till they are in love and they will do anything. Is it right?
Okay.
So they have agreed. The churches have agreed. So the others have no. So when something good is going on, they follow the toll, isn't it? When it's bad to they can do it.
Yeah.
So let's pray that all will fall
in place. So we have some comments here, and this one says, "Hello, Cocoa Digest. This is a very wonderful conversation. Please, can I get Madam Charlotte's contact? We will let her." When we are wrapping up, we'll let her give her information as to the organizations she works with. Then you can contact her there. This one says, Yaira, can Madam Owusu's efforts address the stigma and discrimination? Yes, that is exactly what she's doing. And this is because people are suffering. I am a teacher and I see these students always shy because their friends always conclude, example, that Kwesi is always sick. I mostly try to control them, but still, I am Yayeboa from Pokwasi. So I think people are commending your efforts. All too soon, our time is up, and we would like to take your closing remarks to our viewers, and then you can also share the organizations that you work with so that anyone who's looking to do some screening or to get more information for maybe their relatives who are dealing with sickle cell can also contact you. So please give us your final remarks.
Our final remarks is that we are very grateful that you've called us here to let us voice out what we are to do by God's grace. We are looking at how best God will help us establish this in this country and to go beyond it, because I work internationally with UK and other places. Even in 2018, they called me there to make a presentation. To make a presentation on prevention of sickle, and they are trying to see how it will work for them. It's not easy for them, but we can easily do it, so that these young ones will not grow and say, "Man, that you didn't tell me, or we didn't do this for me. We didn't know." And look at where we are. It's not easy. So we are praying that all will fall in line, and our concept they've already accepted it. We are now trying to come together and sign some agreement to make sure they start. Some too can even start as soon, even before contracts are signed, because it's not any ban. You are not banned by anything to say that until you have signed that, and then the whole Ghanaian population would know that we can't let people suffer. It's sickness, it's a disease which is so, it's. I don't know how to. Can you imagine somebody gets a leg ulcer, sore on the leg for years? It's too much. So let's try and fight it by knowing our status, young one, before you fall in love and give birth to a sick person. We have a poster like this. I thought we could screen that too. Don't deliver as a patient, deliver a healthy person. A pregnant woman who is saying, and we have so many social media things we have done, which we hope people will see it and then know it's real. It can happen to you if you don't check. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you too. Thank you so much for educating us here on the Cocoa Digest Morning Show. And as the doctors that come on this show always say, that at least once a year you should go and get your general body checkups for any possible things in your body. You can also add the sickle cell checks, checking your status into the blood work. You can get that checked when you are checking your blood group and all of that before you go and fall in love. If you're already in love, please, this evening when you are having your love talks, discuss that one too and know how far before you proceed to get married. This brings us to the end of the Cocoa Digest morning show, and I hope you've been informed, educated, and of course, entertained. Now, as you go through your day, as I always say, keep that beautiful smile on your face. Madam Charlotte's contact was also displayed on the screen. You can find the live stream on Facebook and on YouTube. So as you're watching TV and maybe you missed it, you can just check on any of those social media platforms for her contact. Okay, it's been displayed yet again. So take note, take a screenshot, and then go and get informed, go and get educated on sickle cell prevention. A big thank you to you, my cherished viewers, for watching. Thank you so much. A big thank you to everybody who joined hands to make this show a success. A big thank you to our management, sponsors, our team, everybody. We say thank you so much. Do have an amazing week ahead.
Clog TV, Beyond the Policy.